Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 58 of Screw the Commute podcast. This episode is going to be on list building. The old saying is the gold is in the list. And in this episode, I'm going to tell you how to find all that gold. Now, hope you didn't miss episode 57. That was Carol McManus. She's formerly known as the LinkedIn Lady. And she's a longtime radio and podcast host and someone who chucked the corporate world to live the life as an entrepreneur. Don't miss her episode number 57. All right, today's sponsor is the Distance Learning School, the Internet Marketing Training Center of Virginia. Don't even think about retraining yourself or sending your kids to college until you check out our webinar on higher education. I don't want you wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars and putting yourself and your kids under crushing debt. We'll have the webinar in the show notes at screwthecommute.com. This is episode 58, or you can find it in the webinar section. Also, if we happen to have our app done, you'll be able to easily go right to the show notes right from your mobile devices. So if that's finished and ready to go, keep your eye out for downloading the Screw the Commute app. All right, let's get into the main topic, list building. Well, you want the good news or the bad news? All right. Well, the bad news is that according to HubSpot, your email marketing database degrades by about 22.5% every year, unless you do something about it. Your contacts' email addresses could change as they move from one company to another. They could just decide to opt out of your email communication, or maybe they finally decided to abandon that old AOL email address. Well, if you don't want this to happen to you, and you really want to grow your list rather than see it decline, first of all, your content needs to be great. That's a given. Now, if you don't start there, you're just wasting your time because people will not stay on your list, and you'll always be looking for the next sucker who briefly comes in and maybe spends some money, but quickly leaves because you don't give great value. Also, no matter how great your content is, people won't stay if you force them to sift through things they don't care about to find the things they do care about. Whenever possible, you should segment people so they only see and hear about things that interest them. And I understand you can't always do this, but you should always try. If you have multiple topics, you should have multiple lists and do whatever you can to keep them separate. Although me and people like me still make the bulk of our money from email, we now have Facebook Messenger lists, text lists, mail lists, that's snail mail, and telephone lists. And in this episode, I'll be concentrating on email lists. Now, I'm going to introduce you to lots of ways to get people on a list. Each method has lots of details on how to implement them successfully. So you'll have to research the message you like, or the methods you like, or join my mentor program and we'll help you out. All right, let's go to choosing a list hosting company. The first thing you have to do is to get ready to receive and capture someone who wants to sign up for your email list. Of course, I am biased because I've been using and promoting Kickstart Cart for about 16 years. I mean, this is an entire shopping cart system which combines your shopping and customer functions with your email broadcast and autoresponder functions. Now, this is really important so you don't have multiple lists all over the place, which causes you to send duplicate emails to people, which makes them mad. How do I know? Because I'm kind of forced into that situation regularly because I had 150,000 subscribers on various lists before Kickstart Cart was even invented. So yes, you do get duplicates from me sometimes, but with my high volume of subscribers and sales, it hasn't affected me too much. I completely covered shopping cart systems in episode 10, so you might want to check that out for all the details you need to know about shopping cart and email systems. All right, Well, what you absolutely don't want to do is try to send broadcast emails through your website's email, right? For instance, I would never in a million years try to send a broadcast email to 100,000 people from orders at Antion.com. All right. That might look like where it's coming from, but that's not the system that handles it, not my website host at all. Yeah, I might send a one-time, more personal email to 5 or 6 people from that address, but never a broadcast to lots of people. And using that Antion.com web server for the email. Never would I do that. First, many of your web host servers are set to maybe send, 25 emails maximum at one time. So this is just crazy. Don't even attempt it. Do it right. Okay, the next thing is sign-up forms. You have to consider a sign-up or called an opt-in form for your list and where people will see it. Your list hosting company will give you a form to put on your website or blog. Usually there's some level of customization of the look and feel of the form. But for fancier sign-up forms, they usually take the code of your list hosting company's form and use it in a fancy form from another company. Basically, the fancy form is what the visitor sees, and once they fill it out, the email address goes to your list hosting company, in my case, Kickstart Cart. Now, if you have a blog with a sidebar, typically you see sign-up forms there, although with the advent of more sophisticated software and plugins, you can see giant sign-up forms across the top or the bottom of sites or right in the middle of the page with a sign-up form that spans the entire width of the site. You also see sign-up forms on squeeze pages or reverse squeeze pages. Now, if you haven't heard of this, a squeeze page is a page whose sole purpose is to get an opt-in. And the first style was around for a long time, and you'll still see them today, and they have very little content or maybe a short video encouraging you to opt in. A reverse squeeze page still has the same purpose to get you to sign up, but has a lot more content on it that in itself is helpful to the visitor. Reverse squeeze pages came around when regular squeeze pages became less effective because they didn't show enough value to get someone to give up their contact information. Another very common sign-up form is a pop-up. You're most likely to see a dynamic HTML pop-up. Dynamic HTML pop-ups are actually part of the web page you are viewing and not a separate window, even though they look like one. All you need to know about this is that they are unblockable by current browser standards. When I say dynamic, I mean they can really be dynamic and do lots of attention-grabbing things. They can slide in from one side and slide out from the other. They can spin in. They can follow you down the page as you scroll. They can even spin in like an airplane propeller. Now, you can set a delay so they don't appear until a person has scrolled a certain amount down the page or been on the page for a certain length of time. Some are even triggered by what we call exit intent. In other words, you move your mouse towards the top of the page like you were going to click to leave, and boom, the pop-up fires. That's called exit intent. I try to include lots of benefits in my forms. In the old days, people would sign up for just about anything. But nowadays, you have to almost pay them to sign up for your free email newsletter. Now, here's some things you might see on one of my forums getting you to sign up for my public speaking tips. You might see, be the hit of your next presentation. Get paid for it too. Killer tips and tricks. Be the envy of your colleagues. 600 pages of back issues. Be great every time you speak. Have them rolling in the aisles, etc. See, all these benefits. You might even say, we hate spam as much as you do. We won't spam you to death. A couple other good things to put on or around your opt-in form are customer reviews and a small link to your privacy policy. Another decision you have to make is whether to make people confirm their subscription to your stuff. Whenever possible, I use single opt-in, but I'm always ready to turn on double opt-in. Let me explain these terms and tell you the pros and cons of each. Single opt-in means a person can put their email address in your form and it automatically gets put on your list. The advantage of this is that they get on the list for sure, and they don't have to worry about getting a confirmation email and clicking a link in it. The disadvantage to this is that robots can easily put fake emails on your list, and other people can harass their enemies by putting someone else's address in the box. This gets you spam complaints because the person getting your emails didn't really put their email address on your list. Someone else that doesn't like them did. All right. Now, double opt-in means they have to click a link in a confirmation email to get on your list. The advantage of this is that you know the person really wants on your list and they took the time and effort to click the link to get on your list. The disadvantage of double opt-in is that many times the confirmation email doesn't get through, or they forget to click on it and they don't actually make it on your list. Now, there's another thing called a CAPTCHA. That's CAPTCHA. I forget what it stands for. It's something, doesn't matter to you. This is a pain in the neck thing, all right, where they have some weird looking letters and numbers you have to type into a box before your opt-in or form is accepted. Sometimes you have to click on a bunch of pictures with a big pain in the neck, and sometimes you have to click on in a box that says, "I am not a robot." See, although this is the pain in the neck, it is pretty darn effective in stopping fake signups and spam stuff of all kinds on your site. The next question is, what information should you ask for? Well, here's your rule of thumb. The less you ask for, the more people that will sign up. You may ask for more information if you want to hyper qualify a person before they get on the list. And some companies do this because they do phone or mail, snail mail follow-up, and they don't want to waste resources calling and mailing people who are just tire kickers. So they ask for more information. All right, the next topic is lead magnets. This is a term for a freebie or incentive that someone will get for giving you their contact information. These can be PDF files, audio files, videos, articles, white papers, checklists, blueprints, free trials, and less frequently, consultations and free coaching sessions, or anything that would be of interest to your target audience. Now, if you have programming capabilities or access to online tools, you could give them away in exchange for the person's contact information. Now, the way it works in most cases is that the person puts in their contact information and then immediately gets the lead magnet. Now, if you're using double opt-in, you may have them wait until after they have confirmed their email address. When you're doing double opt-in, it's best to remind the person they won't get their promised freebie until they click the link in their confirmation email. You do this after they hit the submit button by redirecting them to a page that gives them the reminder. Also, this page is a good place to show them how to whitelist your email address and which email address they need to whitelist. Whitelist means you're telling your email program that a certain email is not spam, and you definitely want to see it in your inbox. All right, now let's talk about ways to get subscribers. And now that you've got your list hosting company in place and you've got your sign-up forms, we can talk about how to get people to your form. The first and most obvious is to encourage or incentivize or basically bribe any current subscribers you have to share and forward your emails to get their friends and their followers to sign up. If you don't have anyone yet, beg your friends and relatives to get the ball rolling for you and get on your list. Another simple way is to put a simple mention in the signature file of your regular emails. Signature files normally have your name and contact information. You could add an advertisement for your newsletter, so when you are doing regular correspondence with people, they will see you have a newsletter. You could write something as simple as, in your signature file, sign up for Great Speaking E-Zine, all right, along with a link to the sign-up page and your phone number. Now I'm going to give you a bunch of different ways to get people to your forum, and they're in no particular order. Here's one. Viral contests are a great way to get people to opt in. The viral part is that if they share the contest on their social media and on their email list, they get a bunch more chances to win if someone else opts in to the contest through their link. So that's a great way to build people up fast. You could put a Facebook business page button on there to get signups. You could cross-promote with other people on social media. In other words, they put your sign-up on their place and you put yours on theirs, and you help each other out. You could cross-promote with other list owners, but you got to beware advertising in or writing for other lists to get subscribers, because they could spam people, and then you're in this spam email, and that can cause you trouble. YouTube is great. You use YouTube traffic driving videos, and they drive traffic to your website. And I've got a formula for shooting YouTube traffic driving videos. So here's an example of one. Hi, it's Tom here, and I know you're looking for internet marketing tips. Well, you come to the right place. I've been selling on the commercial internet since there was a commercial internet around 1994, and I hit multimillionaire status around the year 2000. So I just might know a few things that could help your business. So here's a great tip for you. Then I would throw in a tip. I'm jumping out of character here. I'd throw in a tip there, and then I'd switch back to the formula. For more great tips like this, and to download a 20-page full-color learning brochure, visit greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click that little bell to get notification of when I upload my next video. All right, so that's a basic formula. If you go back and listen to this, you can break it down into introduction, a little bit of credibility, a tip, a specific lead magnet giveaway, spell out your website, and so forth. So that's the traffic driving formula for YouTube. Now, always base your videos on keywords and say the keyword in the video, because YouTube uses voice recognition to help rank your videos. And again, the #1 episode of Screw the Commute is on keyword research, because that's the #1 mistake people make when they're getting in this online stuff. So go back and listen to episode 1. Another thing you can do on YouTube is on your channel and on your videos, you can have an end card. That's something that shows at the end of the video that takes them to other videos, or you can encourage them to subscribe. Or you could have both on the end card. You could have other of your videos. You could have other people's videos, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. And you can have a subscribe thing. All right, blogging and guest blogging. See, on your own blog, you can put an opt-in right in the middle of a blog post, not only on the sidebar. You can put one right in the middle, and you can guest blog for other people, where you get a link back to your site or your sign-up form as a thank you for guest blogging. And another thing you can do is create subscriber-only content. So you make a blog post, but if they want the advanced version, they have to opt in for it. So that's also a good way. Co-registration. Now, this is something I did a lot in the old days, and not as much now. But that's when someone is registering or buying something, and they're offered to sign up for something from another company. An example of this would be Company A, let's say, is signing up someone to their newsletter. And when they sign up, Company A, the same company, gives them a chance to sign up for Company B, which could be you. If they do, Company B pays company A a certain amount of money. I think I paid like 15 cents back in the old days. It's probably more than that now. The reason co-registration is very effective is because the person is already in the mindset of giving permission because they just did it for company A. Now, make sure there are no pre-checked boxes. This is called opt-out, which means people have to uncheck the box if they don't want your offer. This is considered very spammy. Also, you will get lots of spam complaints if people didn't notice the box that they had to uncheck. They didn't really mean to sign up for your list, and you will hear about it from them. You still have to pay company A, so don't do business with a co-registration company who pre-checks the box. Now, if you do use co-registration, make sure you follow up with the lead quickly. Remember, they weren't really expecting to sign up with some other company and may have done it on a whim. If you wait too long to email them, they may entirely forget they signed up and complain you're spamming them. It's a good idea to keep track of where they signed up and the time and date stamp and IP address. In case anyone really complains, you will have evidence they actually signed themselves up. Just make sure you're dealing with a reputable company so they don't give you terrible or fake subscribers. And the last one I'll mention here is some email services that have a text to join option, which means you can sign up with your email through text. I don't see that too much. All right, let's take a break for our sponsor. I just gave you a bunch of ways to get people to your forum, so make sure you re-listen to this and check out the show notes where we have the entire transcription available. I think on desktop devices. I'm not sure that's available on our app, which is coming out very soon. Anyway, do you know what colleges and universities are doing? Well, according to gradeinflation.com, they're raising grade point averages to make it look like they're doing a better job of teaching when there's a mountain of evidence that they aren't. So watch the eye-opening higher education webinar at screwthecommute.com/58. This is episode 58, or just go to the webinar section, the free webinar section, to potentially save yourself and possibly your loved ones, friends, and neighbors hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt when they go for higher education. All right, let's get back to the main event. Let's talk about advertising to get subscribers. Now, you can advertise lots of places: Facebook, Google, Bing. Quora has 100 million users. Reddit, if it makes sense for you to advertise on Reddit, LinkedIn, Twitter, and there's lots more places. But that list can keep you busy for a long time, the ones I just gave you. You have to really watch your numbers when advertising for subscribers. You need to know the maximum you can spend to get a subscriber and still be profitable in the long run. So after you get some numbers in your business, you can calculate the lifetime value of a customer. And I'll probably do another episode later about lifetime customer values. Now, another way you can get subscribers is when you are in person at trade shows. You could have signage. You can give away lead magnets right there. You could give away thumb drives with freebies in your sign-up form, stuff like that. Meetups that you organize, you can have a sign-up form. But you have to be careful. You can't be too blatant at meetups or you'll get your account shut down. So make sure you give great value at the event and keep the self-promotion really low-key. And I'm talking about if you're the organizer of a meetup. If you're there as a guest, you can't, really pass out sign-up forms unless you've cleared it with the organizer. All right, collect in your brick-and-mortar store. And brick-and-mortar means it's a physical location, not just an online business. I mean, you can use signage, easels with the sign-up address on there, messenger codes, which are circular, and maybe QR codes. Now, if you have a more techie audience, those things work. The QR codes really never caught on much because in most cases, you need to install a QR code reader app on your phone. But if you use a messenger code, a lot of people already have that. So make sure you put the instructions next to it to tell them what to do. And if they're on Messenger, with most people with a Facebook account are, they won't have to download anything. That was kind of the downfall of QR codes and why they didn't catch on. You had to download a reader to use them. All right, here's a couple miscellaneous tips. Use more interesting sign-up buttons. Instead of just submit, you could say, get your stuff, or give me my stuff, or let me in, or something like that. On LinkedIn, you can use welcome letters in your groups, can have a link to a squeeze page or a sign-up form for a freebie. And I'm going to give you some programs to check out that'll do some of the things we've been talking about today. One would be exitsplash.com. Another is sumome.com. Exit Splash is EXITSPLASH.com. SumoMe is SUMOME.com. Opt-in Monster is another one. And in the show notes, we have some links to some videos you can watch from other people about those. I don't use all of these programs. Some of them I do. And then I got a little bit of extra leftover from episode 34 I wanted to tell you about. That's it was on email marketing. I mean, after you've got these people on your list, how to market to them. So you definitely want to check out episode 34 for that. But here's a bonus tip I didn't get to in episode 34. Make sure you go back and listen to that one so you know how to sell to all the people you bring in with these techniques. All right. Tip is give occasional free gifts with no opt-in. This gets great distribution without people having to give up their email address until you've proven yourself to have good info. You could put the opt-in in the freebie. So if they really like it, they can go and opt in from there. And there are many more advanced ways to get targeted opt-ins that are too complicated for this episode. But I'll tell you what, most people haven't even done a portion of what I talked about today. So get busy implementing and build that list. Now, next episode is episode 59, Brian Fleming, the blown up guy. And he was actually blown up twice in the war. His story of overcoming adversity is just crazy, so don't miss it. And remember to watch that higher education webinar at screwthecommute.com. Please share this and help us build up this entrepreneurial endeavor, Screw the Commute. Hey, I'll catch you on the next episode.